Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what it do, people? Like I said, this is your Monday rendition of Just Kicking It with Kstylz. Yes, that is my phone letting me know that it is time.
Get
Everybody,
you.
I am your host for this evening. This is Mr. Just. Hold on, let me do it right. I'm Just Kstylz, the sixth man. And as you know, we got the guy on my left is Mr. Jew Talk Sports, aka Juju in the bank, because his money is money. His words is money.
What?
Hey, don't worry about that. That's my nephew. He decided he wanted to join the show too. We got
Really?
yeah. And at the bottom we have he the life of the party. He the life of the party. And we have Mr. Bad Mike Sports.
Hey, I would do the hook 'em horns, but they told me that
It
might be safe.
That's why I say you do the wax off.
Let's just do the wax on, wax off for now. I got rid of the hook 'em horn. All right. So we do the wax on.
The Bruce Lee Chinese connection Fist of Fury style.
Hey man,
Do the Bruce Leroy.
Oh yeah, Bruce Lee. We got the Oh man, that man Mike Sports down there. Like I said, if you ain't followed us or you ain't following us or looking at our videos, your asses is tripping. But
yes.
But let's go ahead and give the shout outs in the crew. Like I said, we got Joseph Thornton in the building, Floyd Donnelly in here, Joseph Thornton, Asia Green, ATM 3405, Rose Stacks. Hey, John Kelly, Rodney Brown, and we saw Debo Williams, Nathan, Tev Sports and Gaming, Atlanta Nation, and Debo Williams. And I saw Jarvis in here too. I guess. Hey, look, I guess we started on time because I ain't heard nothing about no CP time.
Right.
But before exactly, Philando Johnson, we see you, and Devon Stanford in here too. Now, before we get started on this show tonight, I know if y'all seen the title. Oh yeah, Michael Walker. Hey, I got you, my boy. I got you. That's why you get the last shout out before we get to the top. Hey, so I want to give a special shout out. Hold on, let me put this up.
Oh gosh.
To these guys right here for what they did last night.
You had to do it. I knew you was gonna do it.
I had to do it, man. I had to. The Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind, and Fire, bro. That was amazing.
Man, that was oh my god. We needed that. We needed that. We all, as a nation, this world, we needed that. There's been so much negativity and so much, dealing with this pandemic, and just like we needed for something great. And tonight, man, it took us back. We thought it was nothing but happy thoughts and just peace and reminiscing about good times, man. It was absolutely a perfect day for me.
Exactly.
For us, man.
And like I said, out of all the verses, I don't think there's gonna be one to top it, bro. To be honest with
you. That's unstoppable. If it ain't Prince and Michael Jackson, you're not gonna top it, and that's not happening. That's not gonna happen. So you can't top that. That is the greatest right there.
Damn near, be honest with you, this shit damn near made me emotional, man. I ain't even gonna lie. Like I said, it made me think about back in the days with my dad and my mom,
man,
and all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
But like I said, I just want to get that quick little shout out before. And Philando Johnson says, hold on, he got the question on. He said, why everybody was saying Steve Harvey messed it up? Was it true? Steve Harvey was trying to make it by his damn self. Oh, Mr. Potato Head looking motherfucker.
I'll say this for me personally. I kind of jumped the gun because I just wanted to get to the music and stuff. I think that's why everybody said that. They just wanted to get to the music. I was like, look, all right, stop damn talking. You know what I'm saying? But he did a great job. I'm not going to say like he did a great job, man. Ain't no hate for Steve Harvey, man. That he's just a comedian. Comedians, they love to talk. If you ain't had a comedian, I mean, we got a comedian on here. Kstylz is our comedian. He love talking. All right. Yeah. He always got material for days. He got material and stories for days. So that's what comedians do, man.
Yeah, deal.
See?
Yeah, y'all hear back there. But
Bill.
Yeah.
But that's what he does, man. Like I'm not hating on I'm not hating on him, man. For real. Like Steve Harvey did a great job. He continued. Like one thing you gotta know about those guys too. Those guys are older, and when they older like that, it's you need energy. Those guys are there. I think a lot of them in their 70s. So you need somebody younger that's just gonna, liven up and keep the energy. And he did a great job of just keeping the energy. He did a great job of just, allowing them guys to just rest, do their thing, and he filled in the void when they needed to. He was a great host. I ain't got no hate. I ain't got no hate for Steve Harvey. Did a great job, man.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get into this topic that we're going into tonight. As a lot of people know, Todd McShay, and you got a lot of these draft experts, they kind of switching their tune a little bit as far as who they think the Falcons should take fourth overall.
Oh God.
So the question is going to be, like I said, for your sake, we got Pitts, Sewell, Justin Fields, or and the or is basically what is your dream scenario? Like I said, I know we like I said, it's draft time and everybody is kind of antsy to see what the Falcons would do, and like I said, for our philosophy, what we need as far as defense, but you look at a guy like Pitts, it is just one of those cases where it's a generational type talent that is a 2-for-1 athlete in two positions that you might have to address, especially with Julio coming near the end of his career. Then you got Hayden Hurst. They might not re-sign him, so it's just one of those questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let Mike get his take on that.
As far as who to take,
or like I said, just give your thoughts on the Pitts possibility, and why do you feel like Pitts should be the pick?
Well, I think it's quite. I'm just going to say this: we have an experienced defensive coordinator who's had everywhere he's been, and he's had some sort of success for the most part. So when you're dealing with a guy that's had experience, he knows how to put the guys in position to succeed. You have guys with experience in Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones. These guys have been in the biggest of stages. These guys have been in the Super Bowl. They know what it takes to win and grind it out. Do they always make things happen? No, they didn't. They didn't close it. But even in the Super Bowl, Deion Jones did his thing. Grady Jarrett had 3.5 sacks. He did his things in the big time moments. You're never going to get those. You're never going to say that those guys aren't capable of the job done. So you have guys on the defensive side of balls with experience. You have guys on the defensive side of ball that can make plays, and you have a cornerback. You have a young cornerback who is going to be with aggressive defensive coordinator. He like anything. Look, this is one thing that have been at corner, and I've kind of played a little bit of corner. You want opportunities to make plays, and being with an aggressive, like you want to use your speed, you want to use your hands, you want to play cover two, you want to press, you want to do all that on the defense side of the ball. You don't want to be in cover three all damn day. That shit is boring, and it takes away your aggressiveness as a player. So I'm not worried about the defensive side of the ball. I'm saying all that to say this. I'm not concerned about the defensive side of the ball. That might sound crazy, but I'm not concerned when you got Dean Pease. This dude is a legend. He came out of retirement, and you look at his history, he has had success. But that said, when you have a Julio Jones and you have a Matt Ryan, there's probably one receiver in the history of the game that has done more than Julio Jones, and that's Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is probably the standard when it comes to wide receiver. Julio Jones cannot be stopped by anybody. I've never seen a receiver, I've never seen a cornerback ever stop Julio Jones. I've never seen too many receivers that can run through not only linebackers, but he can run through safeties, he can run through corners. Julio Jones knocked a defensive end to the ground. Like literally knocked him to the ground. The guy is unstoppable. So when you have those offensive players, when you have those weapons on one side of the ball, and you add a guy like Pitts, who is just an absolute freak. There's nothing this guy can't do. And a lot of people saying, oh, he can't block. What the fuck we need him blocking for? That's what the hell you got the offensive lineman for. That's the reason why you give Gunno the second round tender. He's going to be the block. If you need blockers, you put an extra lineman and play tight end. You don't need a tight end to do that. Split him out wide, let him do his thing, and let the offensive lineman block. That's why you run the ball. So with that being said, I don't give a damn about none of that. The guy in this draft is clearly the best guy in this draft, bar none, isn't Trevor Lawrence. I've seen this guy play against Georgia. He made Georgia look absolutely pedestrian. He was an absolute freak of nature. We could not cover this guy. The dude was catching passes. They lined him they lined him on the edge. They lined him outside. He played tight end. The dude did everything, and we could not stop them. Nobody was able to stop Pitts this year. And you saw what happened to Florida when he didn't play. They looked like trash. So that's it. Pitts is just too goddamn special. It's like Julio Jones. You look at Julio Jones, he's just too special. You cannot ignore it. And that's really that.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to a couple of these comments before I get with you on this one. Philando Johnson said here, he said they trade back with Detroit. I believe they'll still take Pitts. Yeah, I seen that. I actually seen that they was talking about Falcons possibly looking to trade back to that 7-8 spot. It just depends on who takes that 4 spot. Because if he gets to Philadelphia, he's not going past Philadelphia because they trying to get rid of Zach Ertz already. Let's see. Reginald Banks here. He said, hell, take Pitts at 4 and Kellen Mond in the 3rd. Yeah, like I said, Kellen Mond's name is popping up a lot now. It's probably, like I said, y'all oh Lord. I guess this is the funny comment, Jesus. Talking about what I call Terrence Mathis, Tay Diggs. Hey, he loved it. So, no, hey, like I said, he loved it. So hey, he knows it's gonna be a fun environment when you come on here with us. Let's see, we're gonna get one more in here. We're gonna get Devon Stanford out here. He said Pitts is there at 4. I think we should take him with him, Ridley, Gage, Ryan, Davis, Hurst, Smith, and Jones. Who is stopping us? So we're going. So Jew, like I said, let's get your opinion on that topic as far as Kyle Pitts, and how do you feel about the possibility of him being here?
I mean, Kyle Pitts is just what Mike was saying. He's a freak of nature. Like, he's one of those guys, if we get him, well, let me say this first. I was watching, I think it was NFL Network or something like that, and one of the analysts had mentioned Brian Billick. They used to coach the Ravens, that won a Super Bowl with the Ravens years ago. And he said that Brian Billick once told him, the thing that you get hired for is the same thing that you could get fired for. And that's with Arthur Smith. He's not coming in here to fix our defense. He's an offensive-minded coach. Dan Quinn was a defensive-minded coach. And what ended up getting Dan Quinn fired? The defensive side of the ball. Because we didn't improve on the defensive side of the ball. And he was supposed to be a defensive guru. You guys, if y'all go back and look at our heavy hitter shows, when we were even during the post-game shows we did during the season, when we were talking about, a new coach coming in, I was on the one on the panel stating that I wanted an offensive-minded coach because we have an elite offense. When we got to the Super Bowl, we got there based off of our offense, not our defense. And I seen with an offensive-minded coach like Kyle Shanahan, we were deadly. Our offense was deadly. We got to a Super Bowl with a 25th ranked defense or 24th ranked defense. We weren't nowhere in the top 15. And Matt Ryan won the MVP. And our offense couldn't be stopped, as Mike was talking about. And I want us to get back to that because the nucleus is still here. Matt Ryan is still here. Julio Jones is still here. We have the nucleus. The only thing we don't have is Devontae Freeman and Coleman, but we can draft that. We brought in Mike Davis, and we can bring in some guys in the draft to play that role that Tevin Coleman played and that Devontae Freeman played. So personally, what Mike is stating, I completely agree. I feel like we bring in somebody like a Kyle Pitts with the offensive mind of Arthur Smith, who runs a similar scheme to a Kyle Shanahan. A lot of these guys are running the West Coast offense, wide zone running scheme, heavy play action. But Matt Ryan is great at play action. Like, I feel like with bringing in somebody like a Kyle Pitts, this offense will be a nightmare, a matchup nightmare for opposing teams. So I definitely think if he's there at 4, and we want to stay at 4 and not trade back, the player that I'm going with is Kyle Pitts, hands down. I kept saying Kyle Pitts or Penei Sewell, but I'm like, now on my draft board, Kyle Pitts is 1A. It's no 1B. Now I knocked Penei Sewell down to 2. So if Kyle Pitts is there at 4 and we stay in at 4 and drafting somebody, hands down, I'm taking Kyle Pitts. Even if one of those quarterbacks is there, I'm taking Kyle Pitts because this draft is going to tell me a lot about this organization, Terry Fontenot, Arthur Smith, and where this team is headed as a franchise. If we take a quarterback, what that's telling me is that we're not trying to win a Super Bowl this year. If we take a quarterback, I'm going to say it again. If we take a quarterback, we're not trying to win a Super Bowl this year. So that's why I want to go with a player like Kyle Pitts. We need to bring in somebody that's going to be able to come in and start immediately, give us impact immediately. Kyle Pitts is one of those guys you can plug in. I see a lot of people saying, well, what's going to happen to Hayden Hurst? I don't care what happened to Hayden Hurst. Kyle Pitts is a beast. Put Hayden Hurst on the bench. I don't care. When you bring in a generational type talent, sorry, Hayden Hurst. Hey, sorry, Hayden Hurst. Kyle Pitts is a dog. When we got Julio Jones, we still had Roddy White. I didn't hear nobody say, well, why are we taking Julio Jones? We still got a number 1 wide receiver. But we just going to have 2 number 1 wide receivers. That don't matter. Like, the more weapons you have, the better. And I feel like with a guy like Arthur Smith, man, with all of these weapons, we're going to give every team that plays us is going to have a hell on their hands. Like, think about being a defensive coordinator coming into a week where we got to prepare for the Falcons. Who do you put as public enemy number one? Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts. Who are you going to double team? Who are you going to stop? It's just too many guys to game plan for. It's no defense in the league that has 3 elite corners. No team in the league that has 3 number 1 corners. It's no team in the league that has 3 great coverage linebackers, which means somebody going to have a mismatch. And what did Terrence Mathis talk about? He said, back in the day, we kept going to your weakness. If we see that you got a slow linebacker and you can't cover Pitts, we're going to keep feeding Pitts the whole game. Just like the Saints would do to us back in the day with Jimmy Graham. When we had linebackers that couldn't cover, Jimmy Graham ate us alive every single season, 2 times a season. So with Kyle Pitts, if we get this kid, he's going to be a headache for the whole NFC South. Like people talk about what the Buccaneers did. All the Buccaneers did is what we're trying to do. They loaded up. If you look at the Buccaneers squad, they loaded up on the offensive side. They already had Evans. They already had Godwin. And then what did they do? Went out and got AB. So really they had like 3 number 1 receivers. I didn't hear nobody saying, well, why are they trying to get AB? They already got enough receivers. They just wanted to say, look, we're going to load up. If we can get them, why not? That's the same thing with us. If Kyle Pitts is sitting there for the taking, I'm taking him because he's the best player available. I know what I'm getting with the value. To me, he could be the best player in this draft. So you know what you're getting out of a Kyle Pitts. 0 drop passes last year in college. That's crazy. Over 10 touchdowns. Like, hey, if Kyle Pitts is on the board, I'm taking him hands down, and I'm not looking back. I'm not thinking about it. I'm running to the podium with that number 4 pick to take Kyle Pitts, and we stand at 4. I'm running to the podium. I'm running to the podium. When they say the Falcons on the clock, they ain't even letting the clock run down. They be like, okay, the Falcons pick is in. As soon as we hit that 3rd pick, if we sitting at 4, I don't want us to wait and let that time run down. When them 2 minutes come up on the clock, they better say that pick is in. With the 4th pick and 20. I'm being honest with you guys. Hey, Kyle Pitts is that dude. That dude is Megatron-esque. Whatever play you want to talk about, Julio Jones-esque, he's just a freak. And when you got a guy like that, you can't pass up on a generational talent. That's like Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Megatron being there at 4, and you say, well, nah, we're going to pass on him because we don't need him. If we get the more players you have, the better. So we can have 3 number 1 wide receivers. It didn't stop us from taking. Look, I'll give you a prime example. It didn't stop us from taking Calvin Ridley. We had Julio Jones. Why did we take Calvin Ridley? He's a number 1 wide receiver. He's a number 1 wide receiver. My biggest problem when we took Calvin Ridley was we had a defensive-minded coach. So my whole thing that I never understood was, why do we keep taking offensive-minded players when we have a defensive-minded coach? Why don't we go defense first? Because that's what Dan Quinn is known for. But Arthur Smith is known for offense. So let him have. That's why I'm not opposed to a quarterback. If Arthur Smith really wants a quarterback and his type of quarterback, go for it. Because what's going to get Arthur Smith fired is having an offense that's not cutting the mustard. If the defense is the same, doesn't get any better, nobody's going to crucify him for that. Because we didn't bring him here as a defensive mind. Dean Pease is going to feel the heat if our defense don't show out. Arthur Smith was brought here to correct the offense, correct the running game. That was the main thing they talked about. Terry Fontenot, Arthur Smith talked about. It said the running game is the biggest thing missing. The offensive line, the running game. We're not physical up front. That's what they brought Arthur Smith here to do. So as long as he gets that mission accomplished and we have a top 5 offense, hey, I'm good with it. Sean Payton over there with the New Orleans Saints, he's an offensive-minded coach. He hasn't been fired. Even when they went 7-9 3 years in a row, why didn't he get fired? Because Drew Brees was going for 5,000 yards. And they know he's an offensive-minded coach. It's not his job to figure out the defensive side of the ball. Same thing with Arthur Smith. It's a reason he brought in Dean Pease, one of the best defensive minds in NFL history, because he knows nothing about defense. So let him take Kyle Pitts. If that's his number 1 guy on his board, roll with it. I'm down with it. Hey, Kyle Pitts is one of them guys gonna come in day 1. He can get you 10 touchdowns in the season, easy. Because nobody can match up with this dude. Who you gonna put on him? Your number 1 corner? Because can't no linebacker cover him. Ain't no safety cover him 1-on-1. So he's hey, I'm telling you, man, if this dude it's about to be a problem. You heard Shay Sharp already on Undisputed said, if y'all get this boy right here, it's over. He said it. It's over. He didn't even mention nothing about the Buccaneers. He said, if y'all let them get Julio, Calvin Ridley, and Pitts together, bruh, it's a wrap. It's over. If we get him at 4, it's over. We ain't got nothing to worry about.
He says, "Good night, Irene."
Good night, Irene. It's over.
I'm about to say, Devon Stanford said, Juto Hayden Hurst and said,
Hey, I'm sorry. Hayden Hurst. I love you. But, hey, you are now tight end number 2. If Pitts is drafted, I'm rolling out the red carpet for Pitts. What you want? You want his locker too? Hey,
like you said, man. That'd be a beautiful thing. And like I said, and the example that that you didn't use is look at the Dallas Cowboys when they passed up Randy Moss. Do they regret that now?
Yeah.
Did they regret that?
They took a defensive lineman. They was tripping.
But yeah, let's get into some of these comments here. Some more of these comments here. Here you go. Triple G actually got a good question here. He says, if we draft Pitts and then there's another generational receiver sitting for us to draft next year, would you draft him?
Depending on who we got and depending on who on the board. Because see, here's the thing. It's not about taking the generational talent year in and year out. If there was a defensive generational talent here on the draft board, like a Chase Young like last year, we're taking him. We probably would take him because that's what we need. The thing about it is we've seen the grades of these defensive linemen, and they're saying that none of them are worthy of that 4th pick. So my thing is this. If you dead set on taking a defensive player, trade back. And that's what we've been saying here at Atlanta Falcons Nation since the end of last year. If you want to get assets, because it's going to be other tight ends in this draft, and not Kyle Pitts, but there's some decent tight ends later on in the draft, decent receivers that you can get. I talked about TJ Vasher. He's a wide receiver that's 6'6", out of Texas Tech, built just like a Julio Jones. If you want to take somebody that's big, that's a physical receiver like a Mohamed Sanu, there's other guys in the draft later on in the draft. My point is this. There's no generational talents from what we're hearing on the defensive side of the ball. So that's the reason why, no, if Chase Young was in this draft or Derek Brown was in this draft and Kyle Pitts was on the board, I'm taking Derek Brown or I'm taking Chase Young, depending on what you need. Personally, y'all know I love the big guys. So if Derek Brown was in this draft, I'm taking Derek Brown. It's no Derek Browns in this draft. So next year we wouldn't go wide receiver unless we don't want to pay Calvin Ridley. And then we could take another wide receiver if it's a generational talent because you get that rookie deal. We go ahead. There you go.
Exactly. That's where that franchise tag coming into place and that 5th-year option. So you really be on the books with Pitts for about 6 years before if you decide you want to give him a big contract. So that covers
a lot of money. That's a great point, Kevin.
Okay. So, yeah, John Kelly said Sean Payton figured out the defense and brought in Dennis Allen. Yeah, them 379 seasons they had to change it up. I think we all, like I said, that's what we all kind of looking for with Arthur Smith here is to kind of change it up just a tad smidge instead of being kind of trying to be a down throw and downfield offense, which everybody wants Matt Ryan to be the downfield quarterback, is going to try to limit it to the intermediate game, which is passes long enough to give problems.
Not to cut you off neither, Kstylz, but Mario Davis ain't trying to see Kyle Pitts 2 times a year. Trust me. None of those linebackers with New Orleans trying to see us, and we got Kyle Pitts. Dennis Allen did get that defense together, but the Saints linebackers can't cover. So we got all of those guys, bruh. They ain't trying to see us.
Hold on. Desmond Capital came with a new slogan. If they draft the Pitts, the new slogan is throw it in the pit. Why? Hey, we like that. You need to put that on the shirt, man. Oh man. Let's see what else we got. Tony Wright said he want Najee Harris at pick 35 as he will be there ripe for the taking. That's yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Kstylz.
No. I was gonna pass this one on to you. What you gotta say on that?
Hey. Hell no. No. Hell no. What happened to Saquon Barkley?
I guess he's saying
year two.
Yeah, I guess he's saying that because I think he's saying that because at that second round spot, it's still high, but it's not a big risk at like number 2 or number 4 overall taking him.
Look, no, stop. Like, why? Look, no. I'm sorry, but why? We need defense. Why are you going to a running back? Like, let's just say we draft a quarterback. If we draft a quarterback, what the fuck are we doing? Excuse my language. Excuse me. But what are we doing drafting a running back if we need defense? Does that make any sense? That's going back to exactly what Thomas Dimitroff did the years before. We gotta stop trying to put together these dang generational type offenses. We were once great in 1998 offensively. We were once great in 2012 and 16 offensively. We broke a lot of records. Okay, we broke a lot of records. Let's start building a defense. If you're going to build for the future, this is something that I keep saying over and over and over again. If you want to build for the future, if you want to rebuild for the future, you gotta have money. Okay? You gotta have money. You're not gonna have money if you're drafting a quarterback and you just restructure Matt Ryan's contract. This is what people keep talking about. This is what we're talking about. Financially, it makes no sense to draft a quarterback. You still got to pay these guys. They're not free. Rebuilding costs money. Expired contracts. You can't just get rid of people and then they got 3, 4, 5 years left in those contracts. Guess what? That money, the last few years of that contract, they still owe those players for that. It's called dead money. Devontae Freeman is still on our dead cap money right now. Robert Alford, all those guys are still on our dead cap money right now because the contract hasn't expired. We still paying guys to play for other teams. So, like, this is what I'm talking about. Rebuilding the right way. Rebuild the team the proper way. You gotta start building through the draft and develop these players the proper way. You got to develop a defense. You got to build a defense if you want to draft a new quarterback. Matt Ryan is not getting any younger, so we have to this is another thing. Excuse me for being long-winded, but this is another thing that we keep forgetting. We had a plan for Michael Vick. We just didn't draft him. We built the defense first. We had a plan for Matt Ryan. We had a damn good defense for Matt Ryan. He went 10-6, 9-7 in his rookie year. We're a solid team. There was a solid team with Matt Ryan and Mike Vick. So we had a plan. You're not just drafting guys just to draft them. You gotta have a plan for the rookie quarterbacks. And this is what we're talking about. Building a defense, setting the foundation first, and then when Matt Ryan's contract is expired, you've already got a young defense that you can throw out there, and a lot of them are going to be in their second, third year, so they're going to be in their prime years. And now you got a rookie quarterback that come in, and he can just come in and do minimum job, like a Baker Mayfield, like a Kyler Murray. You know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah. So yeah, like I said, like L. Dean said before, he was saying he was getting naked for Kyle Pitts during his pro day. I think everybody did, man. Anthony Jones here said he loved the guy's work. Said he been a fan since '95. And like I said, we all frustrated, man. He said we have a last place ranked pass defense, get a DB, but I could see the big dog from Florida holding up that ATL jersey. But yeah, man, like I said, I think that's the issue too, is we know they need defense, but as far as trying to address a situation as a weapon for the next couple of years where you have a couple guys that's going to be up, is trying to set that up to where you will have this guy for at least 5 years. But let's kind of get to the next one. we're gonna get to the next one here. We're gonna talk about the possibility of Penei Sewell. Personally, like I said, this is kind of a guy I would go for. Like if Kyle Pitts wasn't in this draft, this would be a guy that I'll go for. But the only problem is can he play guard, especially when you have established tackles already? Because the one thing is, do you want to take that chance and move McGarry to the guard spot, knowing that he's not going to play well? Because you don't want to mess that chemistry up on that offensive line. All right, Drew. I'm gonna let you go ahead and take Penei Sewell first. What you think on him?
At one point, I had him and Pitts like 1A, 1B. The only reason I slid him back is for the reason you just stated, Kstylz. It's like he's an offensive tackle, meaning we're gonna have to rework the offensive line. So it's kind of like another thing I kind of look at too is, did you recently just draft 2 offensive linemen? Like that's the reason I don't want another corner with that top pick, because I feel like you have to spread it around. You have to spread it around, like year in and year out, to build a consistent team. You don't want to just every year we're drafting the first round offensive lineman. Every year we're drafting the first round wide receiver. Every year we're drafting the first round tight end. Like you want to spread it around, and I feel like that's what Thomas Dimitroff did a bad job at. He didn't, to me, spread it out enough. It's to me, we always were drafting like guys in the trenches later on in the draft, like getting guys out of the Senior Bowl and stuff like that, where we should have been taking the top defensive tackle or the top defensive end. I feel like we did a bad job at that, and that was one of the biggest reasons I was kind of upset with the Calvin Ridley pick, because I feel like it wasn't needed. Because if you think about it, and I don't know if I'm answering your question because I know I'm venturing off a little bit, but I'm taking this somewhere. When we actually got Calvin Ridley, we kind of had to push Mohamed Sanu out the door, because it was like we brought him in to kind of replace Mohamed Sanu. So if y'all remember, Mohamed Sanu started playing more in the slot, and then eventually it just got him out of town to try to bring in, get a draft pick from the Patriots. So I feel like, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I'm just saying Russell Gage kind of threw Russell Gage in there also.
Yeah, we threw Russell Gage in there. So I kind of feel like with the Penei Sewell deal, if we're gonna bring him in here, it was just like what I was talking about. I want to bring him in here to be his best self, to be the best Penei Sewell, and I feel like the best Penei Sewell is an offensive tackle. And I don't want to reframe this whole offensive line because we brought Caleb McGarry in here as a first rounder to play right tackle. So I feel like at this point, there's no sense in drafting another offensive lineman. We traded up to get McGarry. We just got 2 offensive linemen in the draft. When's the last time we drafted a great tight end? To be honest, after Tony Gonzalez, we haven't had a tight end really that was of that caliber. Austin Hooper was straight. He was pretty good. And then we try to replace him with Hayden Hurst. So that's why I feel like if you go in and get a guy like Kyle Pitts, okay, you're bringing in a tight end, you're bringing in something that Matt Ryan does well, which is throwing the ball between the numbers, and he's great at play action. So that's all going to help the team, and it's going to help us immediately. If you bring in like a guy like Penei Sewell, you're basically going to possibly have to change him and make him play guard, which is, for one, we don't even know if he can play guard. So you're not bringing him in to be the number 1 pick to play his position. That's like us saying, well, we're going to bring Kyle Pitts in, but we're going to use him as a wide receiver, or we're going to use him as a fullback. It doesn't make sense. So I'm like, unless you're finna get ready to move on from a guy like Jake Matthews or a guy like McGarry, I'm not bringing Penei Sewell in as the first rounder when he's an offensive tackle and make him play guard. It just doesn't make sense. So that's the reason I kind of pegged him down as far as the Penei Sewell over a Kyle Pitts. Now, I think he's a generational talent as well. I think Penei Sewell is going to have a long NFL career. He's a nasty player. If you go look at his tape, he's like a Quentin Nelson. He's no nonsense. He's a hard worker, and he's athletic for his size. So I love Penei Sewell. I just have him underneath Kyle Pitts because he's going to have to play out of position, and I feel like it's pointless. We got 2 tackles already. If there was a top guard in this draft and we wanted to go with them, I would be fine with that. But go take the best offensive guard that's out there if that's what we really feel like we need. And I would be okay with that. Like the 3 positions that I'm okay with the Falcons taking at 4, I'm okay with them taking a quarterback. because Arthur Smith may want his own guy in the future. I just feel like if you do that, you're not trying to win a Super Bowl now. You're telling me that you're planning to win in the future. You can take an offensive lineman, or you can take Kyle Pitts. Those are the three positions I feel like it's okay to take because Pitts is a generational talent. Penei Sewell is a generational talent. And then a quarterback, you basically are bringing in somebody. It's a new regime. You're bringing in your guy. I understand that. But as far as those, if you're not taking one of those three things, trade back. And then if you want to go defense and go need, get as many picks as possible. And then that gives you a possibility to miss. Because what a lot of people don't understand, when you trade back, say we get another second round pick or another third round pick or another fourth round pick, that gives you a chance to miss on the defensive end because you can take two of them. I told y'all, if it was me and I can take, and I'm trading back, I'm taking two of these edge rushers in this draft because if somebody don't pan out, I'm going in and getting Greg Rousseau, and I'm trying to get Jalen Phillips. I'm trying to take a bunch of guys because I got the picks to do it. So that gives you more opportunities to miss. That's the bonus of having a ton of picks. You don't have to hit on every single pick. And that's why Mike continues to say, I draft a quarterback because basically you're taking a value pick where you can get somebody like a Kyle Pitts, who's going to contribute from day one, and take a quarterback that's going to be sitting for 2 years. You didn't help your team get better at all. If you bring in a quarterback, the only thing that they could possibly do to help this team is if Matt Ryan, God forbid, gets hurt. That's the only way that helps us out. So at this point, Penei Sewell, I'm fine with it. I know I went all the way around. I'm fine with Penei Sewell. If that's what they want to take, we just got to find out if he can play guard. If he can't play guard, it's pointless. Go with Kyle Pitts because he's going to be a guy that's going to make an impact from day one.
All right. So before we get the mic on there, like I said, we want to tell everybody we appreciate y'all kicking in with Kstylz and kicking in with the crew at AFN here. I want to bring this up here too as well. Atlanta Falcon Nation has a website. It's AtlantaFalconNation.com. I want to go ahead and I want to display Brandon Poplowski. He has a 7-round mock draft on here that I think y'all should take a look at. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring it.
I'm gonna drop the link in it so you guys can check that out.
Yeah. So go ahead and check that mock draft out when he drops the link in, and let us know what y'all think about that mock draft because it is very interesting and it kind of covers a lot of areas that the Falcons would need as well. Let's go ahead and get into a couple of these comments here. Here you go. Said the draft is in a few weeks. Marshall Thor said, that's the wifey here. She said, draft in a few weeks. Do it right. Falcons fell.
Do it right. Okay. Do it the right way. Get out your feelings. Let's do it the right way.
Exactly. Michael Walker here, he said he think the Calvin Ridley draft hurt us. That's a very interesting take on that.
Ooh.
I don't disagree with that. Because
as we see, we could have found. We found Russell Gage in the 5th round or something like that.
No, it was the 6th round, I think.
6th round. We found him, and he's I think he's one of the better young slot receivers in the game. So it's I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. When you talk about drafting a receiver like that, Calvin Ridley was a one-trick pony. Let's just be honest. He was a deep threat at Alabama. He has great footwork, and he turned into a great route runner when he got with Julio Jones. But when he was at Alabama, he was just a deep threat. That's all he was at Alabama. That's one of the reasons why I think he stayed 3 or 4 years. He may have stayed his entire term now. But like I said, he was just a one-trick pony. He learned how to become a receiver. So as far as that concerned, I totally I wouldn't necessarily say I totally agree, but I think that draft hurt us because Jude said it. And when you have a defensive-minded coach, why the hell are we, why are we using all our picks on offensive guys? It's just you're not helping the situation. You're not helping the team in any way. Grady Jarrett needed help. We see now that Vic Beasley and Tack McKinley need help. We could have added a defensive tackle or an edge guy to solidify that rotation, and we didn't do that. We drafted another damn wide receiver and Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. They were already, I mean, those two in themselves, they're going to get you 24 or 25 points a game. Just them two alone when they're healthy. So, and we did that without a running game for years. So the fact that, you brought him in, we could have kept Mohamed Sanu. We could have kept Mohamed Sanu and used Russell Gage alongside him. I mean, we got Olamide Zaccheaus. He's a speedster, so it's like it couldn't have been for speed. It couldn't have been for the playmaking because we got that. We have that already. So it's like we got to do it the right way. That right there, we're talking about Kyle Pitts. There's nothing generational about Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is not a generational player. This dude, what we talking about, this dude is Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson all in one. Like that, I've seen a lot of receivers. Look, that dude can come out of breaks. Like this dude is 6'6", 45 pounds, and he comes out of his breaks like nobody I have ever freaking seen. So that dude is absolutely special, man.
All right, let's get to this $2 super chat by Lucas Strichter. $2. He said, thoughts on Boogie Basham Jr. Now, this is one of the guys that I like it.
I know that. I know you. Yeah.
I love Boogie Basham. He got the good. Like I said, the one thing about him that I love about him is he has the hands that we look for as far as defensive ends, especially in the 3-4. But the thing is, he got the motor. It's the motor that intrigues me about him. Like, I've seen this guy chasing down damn tight ends and running backs all the way down the field. So, like I said, especially for a Dean Pease defense and how this defense is going to be, a guy like that with that kind of motor will not only get respect in the locker room, but with respect with the veterans, and they can only do better with him. Like I said, Boogie Basham would definitely be kind of like a second-round pick. Might sock us and be a late first rounder, but I could kind of see him as that second round pick. So it's like just one of those cases. If you don't go for Andre Cisco first in the second round, you get a Boogie Basham. Because like I said, he's big enough to play a 3-4 end. Because about 6'4", 6'5", 290. So he's big enough to play 3-4 end. But if you want, like I said, if you want to run different packages where you had him playing nose tackle, he's big enough to play that. If they switch it up then and there. So, yeah, versatility and motor is what I like about him. I'll be sad if he ain't in the Falcon jersey, but we going to understand it because at the end of the day, we don't damn know who's going to be a Falcon.
We don't damn know.
We don't.
And let's get to another one. We got Jarvis Williams with the $4.99.
Oh, 99.
He said, you guys always keep my spirits up. Like I said, we appreciate you, man. Like I said, hey, we keep our spirits up.
Thank you,
this is therapy for all of us right now.
Absolutely.
Everybody talk about Alan Edwards says, but Pitts can't help us if we can't get him the ball.
Hold on. Y'all not gonna do that. Y'all not gonna keep on moving the damn goalposts every time I turn around. Look, y'all say, look, what the hell? Look, this is look. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sick of it. I am so sick of you. This is not Friday, not madness, but I am throwing my head. Look, throwing that bitch on the floor. Y'all have to stop trying to move the goalpost. You want to draft a quarterback, you want to draft running backs, and then you want to talk about what if Pitts can't. Like, that's the whole point. That's what we've been talking about. We got to have a balanced attack. It has to be a balanced attack. So what am I saying? Why am I saying this?
because you guys want to draft a quarterback like Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or whoever the quarterback is with the 4th pick. And then you don't want to address the offensive line. This is what we've been talking about. You got to address the trenches. This is the reason why we want to trade the draft pick away. And then you bring in a guy. That's what I'm saying. Bring in a guy like Kyle Pitts. You have a generational guy right there. You have a generational talent right there. And use the rest of the picks on offensive linemen and defense. Drafting the quarterback is not going to change. Drafting the running back is not going to help the pass rush. It's not going to help the pass protection. These are the things we're talking about. So you got to stop trying to. Everybody want to move the goalpost when they don't like this. If you're going to draft a guy like Kyle Pitts, okay, he's going to slow down the pass rush. All right, how he's going to slow down the pass rush? Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Hayden Hurst, and you got Russell Gage, and look, so many other weapons on this team. That's called picking your poison. Who the hell are you gonna pick? Who the hell are you gonna double? Who you gonna single? Who you gonna seriously? You don't know from game to game. From game to game, you got a team like let's just say the Carolina Panthers who don't have linebackers that can cover tight ends. Carolina can't cover a lot of tight ends. They can rush the passer, but they can't cover. The same thing with you can say the same thing about the Bucs. I don't think the Bucs have very good cover linebackers. I think they're very good at what they're asked to do, but I don't think they can cover Hayden Hurst. We saw that during the game. Hayden Hurst was he was giving them the business. So you talking about putting Kyle Pitts and Hayden Hurst in the middle of the field with those guys, with Julio and Calvin on the end, you're not going to be able to get after the quarterback because you're going to be so worried about trying to cover these guys. You got to double to them. You can't send blitzes when you got a Kyle Pitts. You can't send blitzes when you got Kyle Pitts, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley on the field at the same time. All the Falcons going to do is spread you out. So it's so many things you could do to combat blitzes and pass rush with just talent all around the field.
All right.
Put my head back on, okay?
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Mad Mike Sports rant of the day.
Damn it.
See, he had to get off right quick. But I was going to say, Lo Panzini basically had a message. He was like, was it more fun to watch the Falcons back in the 90s? You want to take that one, Drew?
Yeah, I say no. To me, the 2000, like Matt Ryan and that passing offense is more entertaining to watch. When you just running the ball down somebody's throat, it's not as fun to watch. It's fun when they can't stop it because you just like, dang, we're gonna bludgeon these guys. But it's we all know that it's the reason why they created all these rules with not hitting guys over the middle and stuff like that, lowering your helmet and all of that. It's because they want the game to be wide open where you can score more points. People like to see points scored. People like to see the ball thrown 60 yards down the field. People like to see running quarterbacks, like all these people in the chat. They want to see a fast quarterback, as Mike always talk about. It's a reason why Michael Vick had the Michael Vick experience. He had all the commercials. He had the shoe deal. They like to see that. So I don't think it was more fun to watch the 90s Falcons. I think that 2012 Falcons team, that 2016 team, they just had so many doggone weapons. And that's what I'm talking about. If we get a guy like Kyle Pitts, it'll be the same exact thing. I think that style that we had was harder to stop. Like if you have a good defense and a good running game, to me, sometimes it can be harder to stop that because when somebody just running the ball straight at you and you can't do nothing about it, kind of like our Falcons defense been the last 3 years, it's nothing you can really do. It's things you can do to combat a team being finesse. We seen it in the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. They had all the weapons in the world, but they didn't have their 2 tackles. So Pat Mahomes was basically running for his life. And basically the Buccaneers did what? Played a physical brand of football. People keep talking about Tom Brady, but all I watched was Leonard Fournette run the ball down their throat and catch passes out of the backfield. If you want to be honest, Leonard Fournette should have been the MVP of that game. Other than the defense, on the offensive side of the ball, Leonard Fournette went crazy. Him and Rojo went crazy, but mainly Leonard Fournette. I think he had like a 20-some yard touchdown run to start it off, and he caught a bunch of passes out of the backfield. So I think, to me, the 2000, the Matt Ryan's Falcons was more exciting than the 90s. I like the 90s style. It was more physical, but it wasn't more fun to watch. Watching Jamal Anderson carry the ball 30 times a game, 30, 35 times a game. Like I said, it was fun to win. I like winning, point blank in the period. However you gonna get, as long as you get the job done, I want to win. But if you're talking about this entertainment, I say the Matt Ryan's Falcons throwing the ball, that Super Bowl team, because it was no stopping us and it was electric. You got guys like Taylor Gabriel catching screen passes and taking it to the house. Guys like Devontae Freeman breaking people's ankles. Tevin Coleman, like we had all of the weapons in the world. Muhammad Sanu, catching 50-50 balls over people. Austin Hooper splitting out wide. Julio Jones, like that offense to me was one of the funnest. I think 2016 and 2012 were Roddy White, Harry Douglas and the crew, Tony Gonzalez, Michael Turner the burner. Like those to me were the funnest teams to watch, personally.
Okay. Yeah, so we got Tony Wright said he disagreed with us. He believed that they need to trade down to get defensive players in the first round. Like I said, hey, it's a possibility. Like I said, we don't know. We just going off the stories that we heard. But like I said, we appreciate that because at the end of the day, this is all football talk, whether we agree or disagree. But for me, I don't give a damn. We can't get no worse than we can't afford to get no worse than 4-12 next year. So, but like I said, and I'm torn because I want defensive players in that first round too. But as far as the future aspect of it, like you said, Julio is not going to be with this team long. Hayden Hurst ain't going to be with this team long. So, hey, you get somebody that's the best of both worlds, and you have them locked in for about 5 years. So you're kind of taking care of a need. Because let's be honest, this year's defensive draft is not sexy, but it's deep.
Yeah.
And like I said, like on the comment where you said the 2000s Matt Ryan's teams were more exciting, you're gonna have people say that the Michael Vick experiment was most exciting. Yeah. But I like boring football because boring football wins games. Damn it. Mm-hmm. The running game and the defense wins championships. If you ain't listened to the Ray Lewis interview he had on ESPN the past couple of days, that's what he was talking about. He was talking about shit. The way that these rules is tailored for the offense to dominate. But the teams that win are teams that win with defense. You don't have to be the best defense in the league, but they have to be the best defense in key situations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what I always say.
Wait a minute, we got to go. Tom Ball said, "Will Kyle Pitts be as good as Levine Toy Lolo?"
Oh Lord,
Levine,
man, you go.
Hey, he just want to get a reaction out of it. Hey, this is the homie. He's on the show every week. Man, Kyle Pitts would be 3 times better than Levine Toy Lolo. Remember, Levine Toy Lolo was big, but he couldn't catch worth a damn.
Look, look, Tony. I love you. I love you, big dog. But let me tell y'all something about defenders. Look, we're talking about value. I don't draft players at 4 just because we need defense. I'm not spending a 4th round pick on a defender if the value isn't there. That's a waste of a pick. Oh, we need defensive players. Well, is that guy worthy of that pick? Absolutely not. So at that point, if you can't find a trade partner that is willing to draft who's willing to trade with you or make a deal with you, then for me personally, I am not wasting a pick on a defensive guy just because we need them. This is the exact same wording that Terry Fontenot used. We're going to take the best available player, but we're not reaching for a need. And this is exactly what we're talking about. Just because we got a defensive, we got holes on the defensive side of the ball, the value has to match. I am not giving, it's just like giving $100 million to a motherfucker who can't sing. Like, look, if I'm gonna give you $100 million, look, you better be Tupac, you better be Biggie, you better be Ronald Isley, reincarnated. I'm not giving you $100 million if you can't sing worth of crap. All right, so it's all about value. I want value. I'm not just giving away. I'm not just giving away, you know, a pick or picking somebody just because I need it. Like, hell no, that's not happening. So I'm sorry, though, but
you talk about the situation where the Falcons passed on Khalil, and they said they missed the opportunity to draft Khalil Mack and passed on Todd Gurley for Vic Beasley.
Yeah, come on, bro. Come on, yeah, man, come on, man. I'm sorry, I can't do it, dog.
Hey, I wanted to say something real quick too. It's kind of in the same vein of what Mike is talking about. If we be honest, we supposed to won the Super Bowl in 2016. Even with a bad defense, even with having a 25th, 24th ranked defense, if we kick a field goal, we run the ball 3 times, we kneel the ball after Julio Jones makes the catch on the sideline, we kick a field goal,
right?
We win the Super Bowl. So even when we say, like, we always hear that defense wins championships, that's true. But I was once told it's more than one way to skin a cat. You can win a Super Bowl doing it other ways. We watched the New Orleans Saints win a championship with Drew Brees. They didn't have an unstoppable defense. Yeah, they were trying to put players out. Like, yeah, they did have a bounty gate, but they didn't have a bunch of Hall of Famers on that defense. You can win with offense. We seen the Colts win with Peyton Manning. They had a few good defensive players, Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis, Bob Sanders, but they didn't have a group like a shutdown, lockdown defense. You've heard me and Mike say it numerous times, and Kstylz. Timely stops. That's all we need. And that's why I feel like if we get a guy like Kyle Pitts, you're completing your offense. You're getting another extremely explosive player, dynamic offensive player. You can go, and I keep telling everybody, even on my channel, if you take a Kyle Pitts, you still got the rest of the draft defense. It ain't like we saying take Kyle Pitts and then turn around and take a running back, then turn around and take a quarterback. No, you take Kyle Pitts with that first pick, and then you go defense. Take the best edge player available after that point. Then you can reach for a need. But at 4, you're not reaching for and we've said this. I don't believe that Tony Wright is disagreeing with us, because we've said this numerous times before we started talking about Kyle Pitts. We said, let's trade back. We've been saying that. And I'm still in that vein. If somebody wants to trade up and give us the farm, we'll leave Kyle Pitts on the board. If you're going to give me the farm and help me build my defense, you're going to give me a bunch of first-round picks. Or like Terrence Mathis said, you're going to give me Khalil Mack for that 4th pick. It's a 2nd-round, a 3rd-round pick. Okay, we'll do it. Let's make that trade right now. I'll take a generational pass rusher to complete the defense. Hey, we'll do it. But we just saying we're not going to reach at 4 if Kyle Pitts is sitting right there to help complete our offense, because I feel like this. If we get Matt Ryan playing back at an MVP level and the offense is just as good as 2016, we've seen how deadly that offense was. We should have won a Super Bowl. So if we can just get that back, if we can just get the old thing back, as my wife would say, if we can just get that 2016 with a running game and balance, we can win a Super Bowl like that and have a 15th, 20-ish ranked defense that gets turnovers. Our biggest issue is we're not taking the ball away, and we're not putting the ball in the end zone when we get in between the red zone. In the red zone, we're not scoring enough touchdowns. Last year, it was 7 to 8 games we should have won. Even with that horrible defense that we had in the bottom, 20-something, whatever we were in defense last year, we still lost games, by 1 possession. That shows you how great our offense is. So just think about adding Kyle Pitts to an offense that's already putting up 28 to 30 points a game. Like, bruh, we can get back to a Super Bowl with that. We just need a defense that's going to get timely stops. And what have we been talking about, Mike? A safety that will take the ball away, like a Cisco, a player that's going to get you timely stops, a playmaker. that's gonna go and punch the football out in a key moment. That's gonna, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're missing. We're missing that playmaker. That's what AJ Terrell brings to the table. That's what a decent pass rusher will bring to the table. Get us a strip sack fumble like Vic Beasley was doing in 2016 in a timely manner during a clutch moment. Robert Alford, give us a pick six in a clutch moment. That's all we need. We don't need this Ravens defense. But if that's what we're looking for, then we do need to go ahead and get rid of Matt Ryan. If we're gonna try to tear this whole thing, apart and bring in a young quarterback, then that's how you build your defense. If we want to have a lockdown defense, we gotta do a whole makeover, a whole rebuild. Julio gotta go, Matt Ryan gotta go. If y'all want to have an elite defense, we're not gonna have an elite defense. Period. We're not gonna have an elite defense. We're gonna have to win with this offense. Our offense is what this team is built on. Period.
Hey, I think you just became a fan favorite by saying that, Jew.
I've been saying, like, look,
no. I'm talking about the whole get rid of Matt Ryan and Julio thing, because that's been the main talking point. The whole
that's what right.
But that's the point that Mike's been saying, and you've been saying, Kstylz. The thing is, if we take the quarterback, what Mike is saying is we don't have the defense to protect the quarterback. Yeah, we can go get a young quarterback, but we're gonna have a quarterback that's gonna make young mistakes. He's gonna throw crucial turnovers, fumble the ball, throw bad interceptions, and we don't have a defense that can back him up. You see what I'm saying? And that's the issue.
If he can't score points, fans are going to be looking at him like, oh, my God, this dude is a bust. He's no Matt Ryan. He's no Michael Vick. He's a bust. So, this is the reason why we have to build a defense and build a complete team around that young quarterback, because if he struggles like let's just say Jacksonville. I forget his name, Blake Bortles and all these other other young quarterbacks that have failed and recent. You even look at the quarterback with the Raiders. Like, even him, he's played well, but that team just wasn't built well. It wasn't built right. So he's a pretty good quarterback, but if you don't have a team around him, they trade away Khalil Mack, and you see they still struggling. Good quarterback, they can put up points, but the defense still can't get stops. This is what we're talking about. Have young quarterbacks, and you put all this talent around him, but your defense still sucks. So what's the point of drafting and bringing in these guys, and they barely going to even get to the playoffs? A lot of these teams barely even get to the playoffs. They put up a lot of numbers. You look at Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was the best quarterback in the league, and they still went, 4-12 or 13 or whatever it was. They still sucked. So what's the freaking point of bringing a quarterback and your team still freaking sucks? It don't make sense. Jesus, that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, I forgot to even break that news. Yeah, Sam Darnold is now a Carolina Panther. I forgot to break that. Look like they're going to fall in love with just they looking at the Zach Wilson train is going to the Jets. So I was kissing that one.
La, 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 la.
A lot of Falcon fans mad about that.
I'm glad about that. As long as he ain't in the I'm on Team Roddy White when it comes to Zach Wilson. As long as he ain't on my team, I'm good, dog. I'm good.
Yo. Hey, dude.
Oh my God. Yeah, like I said, that's interesting right there, because I don't even know why that's interesting, to be honest with you, because the Jets was exactly what going to take a quarterback anyway. They just said, fuck it, we just going to get some picks for him.
Yeah.
Right.
So Panthers got their young quarterback, so they're going to be looking at they didn't say what picks that they traded with, but
it was a second round.
It was a 6th round pick. Yeah. It was like 3 or 4 picks, but it was no 1st round picks in there.
Okay. So there's a possibility that they might want to try to trade up for Kyle Pitts.
Let me say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. This right here is a telltale. Like I say this all the time. This tells me exactly this. All right, a lot of people saying that they're going to take a Trey Lance. That right there telling me that right there in itself tells me everything. If Carolina, they needed a quarterback and they wanted that quarterback to be a franchise player, like why would they trade for Sam Darnold? Like that right there tells me that you don't believe in any of these quarterbacks. You're not trading the farm away for these quarterbacks. And this is the reason why we say let's stop falling in love with these mobile quarterbacks because they run real fast, they look cute with their with their Nike Jordans on, you know what I'm saying? They Jordan cleats on. Now, look, none of that shit matters. All right, you can run a 4.4, you Sewell and all that crap. All right, we've seen that before. But can he play? Is he a franchise quarterback to lead? Can he stay out of the damn? Can he stay out of trouble? I mean, we see right now, Deshaun Watson, this dude may not even play this year. Can he take it? Can he lead the franchise? Like, these are the things you're talking about. A lot of these guys don't have the mental makeup to be quarterbacks. Because let's be real. Half of you motherfuckers wouldn't even look. If you were Matt Ryan, half of you guys would probably committed suicide. And I hate saying that, but half of you would have committed suicide because this dude gets more hate than any quarterback I have ever seen in my life. And he never, ever folds. He gets it from his fan base. He gets it from the national media, and he never folds. He goes out and put up 4,300 every season. 10 times in a row, Matt Ryan has done this. 10 times in a row, he's done this.
Don Lovato says that Zach Wilson. He said Zach Wilson's a dork. I just wanted to highlight that because that shit is funny. I'm telling y'all, it just something about him is off to me. It's like I'm getting Ryan Leaf. I'm getting the Ryan Leaf vibes from him for some reason. I don't know why. He just got that look like he like fuck everybody in here.
You getting them Josh Rosen vibes off of
Quiz Royale. Hold on. Let me say this. This Quiz Royale dude. You've already heard, look. I don't think you've been watching us. You need to really just go back and look at a lot of our videos. We've stated this plenty of times what we like, but what a lot of fans like to do. This is what Jude and Kevin said before. Y'all just want to fall in love with his strengths. There's a reason why that's called strengths and weaknesses. Quarterbacks and coaches have to know what you don't do well, so they don't call those damn plays. Why am I calling if he isn't a quarterback that isn't consistent, and you have to do the things well in order? You have to call the things that he doesn't do well. You have to put those on the back burner and call plays that he does well and create a game plan around what he does well to hide his deficiencies. You look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is a consistent thrower underneath, but that intermediate deep ball in the middle of the field, that dude will light you up. And this is what he does. He gets the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hand quick, throw it to the running back, throw it across the middle, get the ball to Kelsey. He get the ball to Sammy Watkins, so these guys can do everything for him. This is the reason why you have play callers. You got to understand these guys' weaknesses if you want to draft a quarterback, and that's the same thing for Matt Ryan. You don't see Dirk Cutter. I'll take that back. Dirk Cutter out here throwing all them damn deep balls, and knowing Matt Ryan doesn't have the biggest arm in the world. He's the exception of the rule. So you got to understand these guys' weaknesses in order to get the best out of them. So we've done this before, though.
Like I said, we're the bad guys because we don't fit that narrative. We don't 100% fit to that narrative as far as just looking just at the strengths. Like I always said, man, You're not going to learn anything about yourself until you acknowledge your flaws.
Exactly.
So, but he said he respect the opinions. It wasn't he wasn't taking no dab at nobody.
Oh no, yeah, I didn't take it that way. Yeah, I just explained why. Yeah, I just explained why it seems like we are always picking on quarterbacks. It's like we're not picking on quarterbacks. We're just expressing what their deficiencies are. Like a lot of people don't like to talk about. They think these quarterbacks coming out of college are perfect, and they have flaws. Even Trevor Lawrence, he has flaws. He's not a very accurate thrower across the middle of the field.
Yeah, but let's go and hit this question there. Millie Mills, he was talking about. I guess he was saying give 3 differences between Kyle Pitts and David Njoku. One thing, Pitts is cheaper.
Pitts is a better athlete, period.
He's a better athlete.
Pitts is faster. Pitts is, I can tell you pretty much anything you want to compare, Pitts do it better. Pitts stronger. Like, go look at this. Go look at the guy, as Kstylz always say, this man is a cyborg. Go look at his pro day.
Mm-hmm.
He better at everything. Njoku can't. The only thing Njoku probably can do better than Kyle Pitts is block. And that's because Kyle Pitts ain't looking to block nobody. He looking to score touchdowns. Just like Shannon Sharp when he was in the league. Shannon Sharp was not a blocking tight end. You can put him on that.
He run a 4. What the hell you want him block? He run a damn 4-4-4. What the hell?
Exactly.
You want him on the outside as much as possible.
Right.
But let's go and get to this $5 new drop. $5 super chat. He said that's what happened to Lamar Jackson. You clamp him down and stop the Ravens that way.
Perfect example. Perfect. We said that before.
Exactly. Not a very accurate quarterback. You want to talk about his big arm. He has a big arm, but it's like you got to talk about his deficiency. That's the reason why they call the plays that they call. We seen the whole playoff game. All they did was call street plays. Like that's all they call 9 routes. The whole game, it was just 9 routes. And I'm like, bro, what are y'all doing? Where's the real routes? Because he's not very accurate. Lamar Jackson isn't very accurate. That's the reason why they don't call those plays, because he's not very accurate. The reason why they call a lot of round pass options, because he's not very accurate.
Hold on, I want y'all to hit this comment up because I think this deserves some shine here. He's saying, changing the game said, take the best player, lower risk players available. Any player position that turns out to be a bust, every pick is a gamble. The earlier the pick, the bigger the gamble.
I don't know if this is what he's saying, but when I'm saying what Kyle Pitts is, I think he's a can't miss prospect. I don't like to call nobody can't miss because anybody can be a bust. There's been numerous guys come in that have athletic ability, and for whatever reason, it doesn't pan out. Whether they can't learn a playbook, it's a lot of different reasons. Whether they get injured all the time, it's a lot of reasons that your NFL career could be cut short. So I'm not anointing Kyle Pitts as a Hall of Famer. You haven't heard me say he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be the best tight end to ever play the game. I'm looking at his numbers. I'm looking at the pro day, and I'm looking at the tape. I don't just look at pro days. Pro days are supposed to make you look like the best thing since sliced bread because everything is set up the way you want it set up. All these quarterbacks, they get to say who's going to catch the balls from them. They get to set it up on how many deep passes they're going to throw, how they're going to roll out and roll bootlegs. They get to choose all of that. So I'm not just looking at his pro day. Go look at Kyle Pitts' tape in college. The man didn't drop a pass last year. The man has the longest arms, even longer than Megatron. They said the longest arms in the last 20 years for a tight end or wide receiver. I'm looking at those numbers. This man is a freak. And another thing is, any quarterback that is inaccurate, I would be looking to draft a guy like Kyle Pitts. Because one thing I've always looked at when it comes to wide receivers, tight ends, you know how they always do the pecking order. For years, they were saying, who's the best wide receiver in the game? Is it Julio Jones? Is it Antonio Brown? For the longest time, they were saying it was Antonio Brown when he was with the Steelers. And my argument was always, when it came down to AB and Julio, was Julio Jones' size. You can't teach 6'4", 6'3", 220 pounds. How tall is AB? 5'9", 5'10"?
5'10".
That's what I'm saying.
5'10".
So that's where the difference comes in. And that's like anything. Who's the better player, LeBron James or somebody like Chris Paul or Allen Iverson? Sometimes it's just God-given, your size. Kobe Bryant said, when God rest his soul, when he was living, he said if Iverson was 6'6", my height 6'6", 6'7", he would have been the best player to ever play the game. But he just didn't have the size, and that's what and that's the thing that I love about Kyle Pitts. You can just throw it up. He's gonna come down with a 50-50 ball. If he's in man-to-man coverage, you throw it anywhere in his vicinity. He's either catching it or he's gonna stop you from catching it. It's not gonna be an interception. And that's how many times have we sseen Calvin Ridley, Matt Ryan throw it up and give him a chance and they intercept the ball?
Nope.
We've even seen Julio. We've even seen Julio Jones. I remember they threw the ball when he threw the ball up and Jeff Heath was about to intercept it from the Cowboys. What did Julio Jones do? Turn into a safety and knock him out?
Right.
And that's the difference. That size matters, man. That size, you can't teach 6'6". You just can't teach it with that athletic God-given ability. You can't teach it. And I think that's what Ridley struggles with, that physicality. You can't teach it. He runs the best routes, but he just don't have that size. He's not 6'6", 6'4", 6'5". He doesn't have that God-given ability, that size. And that's where the difference comes in. And that's how I always compare it. When you talk about the best receivers in the game, I would never say a guy like AB is better than a guy like Julio Jones, because it's nothing that AB does that Julio Jones can't do. Julio Jones runs great routes too. He got great hands too, but he got a better vertical. If you try to double team Julio and you throw up a 50-50 ball and you told me for $100 who coming down with it, if it's AB in the double team or Julio, I'm going with Julio or Megatron or Kyle Pitts to catch a jump ball, 50-50 ball, over a guy like AB or Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, man. And Newdrop said he thinks his floor is Vernon Davis.
Yeah, and that's what Drew said. Drew actually said that.
Mm-hmm.
No,
it was J-Rock. I think it was J-Rock. It was J-Rock.
Yeah, it was J-Rock.
Okay. Okay, yeah. It was J-Rock, yeah.
Yeah, just think about it like this. You get Kyle Pitts. Would that be a major upgrade over Luke Stalker?
Man, stop.
Exactly.
Oh my God! Anything better than that,
is it a better tight end option than Keith Smith?
Oh my goodness, absolutely, man.
Yeah, but like I was gonna go with you, and actually that was gonna be my other topic that I was gonna talk about as far as the quarterback, but we kind of hit on that already. But like I said, that's the one thing about these pro days, like as you said, is to make the player look good. That's it. You have to look at the tape, and like I said, the two things that the two more important thing that these coaches look at, they don't look at pro days is basically what it would look like if everything was perfect. You have to remember, the first 15 plays in the NFL for any team is scripted. After those 15 plays, all hell breaks loose after that. Yeah, I just want to like I said, the coaches look at the interview and the tape. That's what they look for. Because like I said, all the stuff with the 40s and the broad jumps and stuff like that, yes, that sounds good measurable wise, but they want to see if you can put that in pads on the field. Anybody look good in a tracksuit? What you look like with some football pants
on? That's what you look. I'm saying they dumb. Look, I'm trying not, but I keep sitting up here talking about Pitts is not a good blocker. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? That's why you draft guys like Levine, Toilolo, and goddamn trade for guys like Lee Smith. I don't want him blocking.
Hold on,
Duh.
Mike.
I want to say this too, and I've said it plenty of times. That's why I said he is a 2-for-1 athlete. Like I said, he's a tight end and a wide receiver.
Exactly.
So
all I wanted to say was Calvin.
Who the hell cares if he can't block? Look, Tony Gonzalez didn't block that damn great. He one of the greatest tight ends of all time. He did okay, but he wasn't great at blocking.
Right.
Like, Jesus, blocking? Come on, bro.
Travis Kelce's not a good blocker. They don't ask him to block. Right. They ask him to catch touchdown.
Yeah.
But I want to get to the last portion of it because we already kind of addressed the quarterback situation. We're going to be looking at the or aspect of it. The or aspect, which is whatever you think can else happen. Like for me personally, I would rather trade out the first round in general.
Mm-hmm.
And stock on all those second round picks that you can get.
And load up next year.
Load it up
for next year.
Like I said, think about it. A goddamn piece is good when you have a full chamber. It ain't worth the damn if you got one bullet in there.
Right.
You may be able to hit with that one bullet, but once that one bullet is gone, you got no gun.
Right.
So I'll load that motherfucker up. Like you said, if you can get about two or three second rounders this year, do you know how much you can load up?
Mm-hmm. And you go up and trade up a player that may have slipped out of the first round. You can trade up and get.
Exactly. And then, like I said, you still got those compensatory picks. You can still use those as trade pay.
Man, we got a bunch of them coming the way we let everybody go.
Exactly. You use all the, like I said, if I was me, I trade all the way back to the second round, get me about 3 second round picks. Like I said, you can address playmaker, you can address defense, you can address secondary, or like you said, you can get the best player available for cheaper the price. That's why I would go with that. Me personally, like I said, and I'm looking at this realistically because we know how dipshit Kyle Shanahan is. This motherfucker would do some dumbass shit and get Kyle Pitts at number 3.
He will do that. He did to us before.
Oh yeah, hey, Desmond Campbell, yeah. Hold on, Desmond Campbell, yeah. Load up, get all your ammo, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I want 6. I want at least 5 bullets in my magazine. I don't, like I said, I want one because if I miss on that one, boy, I'm assed out.
Right. I need one.
Exactly. Right. Oh boy.
Unload the clip.
My co-workers in here. What's up, Ryan? I see you in here, man.
Hey, what's good, Ryan?
But yeah, like I said, like what do y'all think? What do y'all think on that? Like, what would be your or situation?
You want me to take it?
Yeah, go ahead, Drew.
So what I'm doing is if we trade him back out of the first round altogether, which we've been saying from day one, like I know a lot of people are mad at us now that we're talking about Kyle Pitts. We just talk about him because he's a can't miss prospect, like to me personally. But if we're going to trade back, y'all know where I'm going. Defensive line. Right. My favorite edge rusher in this draft is Jalen Phillips. But we all know that he has a bunch of injury concerns. Like concussions is no joke. He actually I think he was playing for UCLA and he stopped playing football and went to the University of Miami because he was having concussion issues. But I also heard that he had some wrist issues as well because he got in some type of accident as well. So Jalen Phillips is a guy that I like personally. And I feel like if you trade back and get a bunch of picks in the second round or the third round, if he's still there, then you can afford to take risk. And that's what I was talking about. Then you can say, well, hey, I'm gonna take this guy, Jalen Phillips, because he has a high ceiling, and we're gonna take the chance of these concussions because we can go and draft another edge rusher just in case he doesn't pan out. Y'all know on my board, the top two guys is Greg Rousseau out of Miami and Jalen Phillips, his running mate out of Miami. So we can get both of those guys because I really feel like that's where we went wrong as an organization with Thomas Dimitroff in here. Like, when we got Calvin Ridley, that should have really been another edge rusher, or that should have been a defensive tackle, because that would have gave us depth, and we wouldn't have been in this situation we was in with a guy like Pat McKinley and Vic Beasley. We wouldn't have had to rely on those guys. The reason we went out and spent all that money on a Dante Fowler is because we was looking for him to be the savior, because we didn't have an edge rush at all. And I feel like every single year you have to build depth in the trenches, point blank in the period. You shouldn't have to rely on one guy to get you 10 plus sacks a year, because that's hard to do. Go look at these guys' stats. You can name any guy you want, Khalil Mack, JJ Watt, any of these guys, and go see how many times they've had 10 plus sacks in the season in a row. It's hard to do it. So I believe in strength in numbers. Go get as many guys in the trenches that are able bodies that can rush the passer, that can stop the run, because I feel like as a defense, you stop the run first. And then that gives you the ability to rush the passer. When you can lock people up and make teams one-dimensional where they can't run the football, you can shut down a passing game, because all you have to do is let the dogs loose. If they can't run on you, then you don't have to worry about the running back. You can just go rush the passer. And that's what teams have been doing to the Falcons for the last 3 years. We have one of the most explosive offenses when it comes to passing the ball, but teams know that we can't run the ball. So when it comes down to it, if it's time to ice a game or assault a game away, and it's only a little bit of time on the clock, they know that the Falcons can't pick up a yard or two on 4th and 2 or 4th and 1 because we can't block it. So personally, I feel like load up in the trenches on both the offensive line and defensive line, because that's what we really need if you're going to trade back. That's what I would do. And a guy that you guys need to go check out, I don't know if you guys have looked at it, Kstylz and Mike, but even in the chat, somebody actually came on when I went live. Bobby Brown. I like this kid. Defensive tackle out of the University of Texas A&M. This dude is like 6'4", 325 pounds, but he's a problem. I watched tape on this dude. He's a problem. You put him next to Grady Jarrett, and they're saying he's going to possibly go in like the 4th to 6th round is what they have him mocked at. But that's a guy that I want the Falcons to go out and look at, because he plays with a high motor, and he's big, long arms, and he has that motor, that hot motor, man. So he's a guy, we can get him in the trenches and pair him next to Grady Jarrett to play that nose, bruh. Our defense going to go to another level, because we're going to be able to shut the run down.
We got Vaughn Hogan with the $5 super chat. He said he only wants defense. Shout out to AFN. Hey, like I said, if you only want defense, you're gonna have to trade back, because, like I said, if you take defense within that top 10, if you ain't getting certain, it's pretty much gonna be a reach at that 4th spot. So,
and I want to say this to kind of piggyback off what Jude saying. This is a missing element that a lot of people just totally forget. When you look at the most successful defenses in the league, they're not successful because they have one spectacular guy. Like, you look at the Rams. The Rams have a loaded roster of guys up front that's just a compliment to what Aaron Donald is. Grady Jarrett puts up elite numbers every year for the last 3 years or so. Like, he's done that 3-4 years or so. What separates good defenses from bad defenses is depth. The Ravens are great every year because they have depth. They don't draft guys in the 1st round with their defense every year. They can take chances on trading up for a guy like Lamar Jackson, because guess what? They spent all of their money. They spent all their picks on getting a guy like Orlando Brown. A lot of these guys up front in the trenches, because they can double up, or end up trading these guys away for a 1st round pick
and then you can, if it's a special player that you want, you trade up to get that guy. So, like Pittsburgh has been doing this for years. They got T.J. Watt. He was like at the 17 spot or something like that, 17, 18 spot. They got him, and he turned into a franchise player. So a lot of these guys that you see now, they're playing a role. These guys are not superstars. They were superstars when they got there because they're playing a role. They are a piece of a puzzle, and that's how you got to look at it. The Falcons, they have guys that are superstars. Brady, Jared, and Debo, I think these guys are superstars, and all at this point, it's about putting pieces around them. Because if you look at it, Grady Jarrett hasn't had a lot of rest on the defense side of the ball. He's had to do everything himself. That is Grady Jarrett, Debo, and everybody else. That's it. So the Falcons have to continuously build through the draft, have the next guy. If Deion Jones isn't the guy, something happens, we got Foye. If Foye isn't the guy, we got Michael Walker. You gotta have people. You gotta have players ready to take over at any given time, and that's something the Falcons just don't have on the defense side of the ball.
Right. And Duke dropped with another $2 super chat. 2 times. $2 super chat. He said, if the Bears make a crazy offer or the Washington football team take it. Hell yes. Like I said, I want all the ammunition I can get.
Mm-hmm.
And, Andrew G, he has a question here. He was like, have y'all seen the tape on Oklahoma State right tackle Tevin Jenkins? And actually, I'm glad you brought this name up because this dude looked like Aaron Gordon that does taxes for your ass.
Right.
But he's like I said, he's basically Caleb McGarrett without the heart issues. Like I said, he would tear your ass apart if need be. Yeah, I like Tevin Jenkins. He looked like Aaron Gordon, but he dope though. I like his tape. Violent hands, like I said, the violent hands. And let's see, we got another one here. Right? I said all the money on the superstar. Like I said, right, like Ryan, I tell your ass this, bro. You better blame Dimitrov for that. Don't blame the player. You blame Smith for that one. You gotta blame Smith. Oh man. Yeah, prove it. Yeah, we know the 49ers are our rivals. We was a joke in the NFC West for a long time. We know where that came from. But yeah, like I said, Tevin Jenkins, like I said, if that's just one of those picks that if you can't get a Penei Sewell with that 4th overall pick, this guy is just as relentless as Penei Sewell. He just don't have the big name. And that's what you're going to kind of have to look at. Like with the quarterbacks and stuff, everybody wants Justin Fields. But Kellen Mond kind of fits in that same category build too. He's not as big as Justin Fields, but it's the same skill set. And like you said, right now we trying to shop with coupons, man. We don't have we don't have Black Rush cars around here.
No.
There was a question here. Okay, yeah, Debo Williams had a question here. He said, why won't the Falcons hire Chuck Smith? That's a question we've been asking for years.
Chuck won't shut the hell up. Chuck too real, too raw. Chuck too real, too raw for him. It's really that simple. Chuck is not a company boy. Chuck is a real dude. He speaks his mind. He does what the hell he feels is on his heart. And a lot of times, like when you talk too much and you're not with, it's not so much with their vision. It's just like when you oppose their vision and whatnot, a lot of people just don't want to, deal with that. And Chuck is a real dude, man. And a lot of time, guys who won't shut the hell up and will out guys, won't be
Ricardo Allen. I'm just being real. Ricardo Allen is a company guy. I like him. I think he's a good dude, but he's a company guy. He's there to do whatever the boss tells him to do. And that's what Chuck is not. Chuck is not one of those guys. So Chuck, he's well respected in the NFL as a elite pass rush coach. This guy's taught Aaron Donald, Von Miller, like all the greats you seeing right now, Leonard Floyd. You've seen all of them. Every last one of them went through Chuck Smith. And to kind of add to that, like Chuck don't need the Falcons. Chuck don't need them. Chuck is doing good with his academy. This dude teaching high school players. He teaching college. He teaching pro. Chuck don't need them.
Exactly. Ghost Peppers had one right here. He said there are teams who think they're in win now mode and only a quarterback away with coaches and GMs fighting for their jobs, and will be desperate to pay the price to move up to save their jobs. Just said two of them right there. Chicago, Washington.
Yeah.
Bruh, did y'all I know most of these folks probably knew that, but before they moved this season to 17 games, they said the Jets and the Bears were the only two teams to not have a quarterback throw for over 4,000 yards in the 16-game era.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh my God! Wow.
Chicago been looking for a quarterback since Sammy Ball, bro. That's almost damn near 100 years ago.
Hey, I want to plug something right now. I know a lot of people it's probably coming out of left field, but anybody who's a Hawks fan, man, you go check out Miss Maggie. She gives all the latest Hawks news, so you can check out Miss Maggie T channel. This is not a lot of Atlanta Hawks content creators out, but check out Miss Maggie T channel, Miss Maggie T. She's in it. She'll probably drop her link for anybody who is an Atlanta Hawks fan. Just check that out for the latest Hawks news. So I had to throw that in there, but Reginald, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. So Miss Maggie T. That's the queen of the Hawks right there. So
absolutely,
check her out if you hadn't already. If you don't check her out, Peerless Price is gonna come to your house and ask for you to throw him the football. Oh my man. I ain't mean to throw that there, man. I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't mean to throw that one in there.
Man, we trying to get Peerless Price on the show, man. Don't do it like that. Don't mess up.
But for real, Peerless Price wasn't a bad receiver. It's just the issue was, like I said, the offense did not pertain to him. He wasn't going to succeed in that offense because it was a run heavy offense, and whoever's the wide receiver was not going to get as many passes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So definitely, like I said, we hope to get him on here one of these days. Like I said, Billy Mills said we don't say that name.
Hey man, oh man, we gonna have fun tonight, man.
Oh Lord, yeah, Miss May T said she trying to get Peerless Price on here. So hey, oh Lord, that's gonna be funny as hell. Let's see what else kind of. So if anybody got any more questions, like I said, we can go ahead and wrap it up because I know everybody waiting to see this March Madness final. I'm about to say it. I'm gonna ask the final question here. So if y'all watch college basketball, who you got, Baylor or Gonzaga? Personally, I don't know neither team. I don't give a damn about neither team. My team got knocked out, but I think Gonzaga's gonna take it though.
Yeah, I just that shot at the end of the game, just like this, like when things like that happen, like I think he's just destined. But I'm not overlooking Baylor, but I just think Gonzaga is just destined to win tonight, man.
I got Baylor, the Baylor Bears. Y'all heard it here first.
I
heard it here first. So everybody on Gonzaga, huh? Okay. Don't overlook Baylor, man. Baylor. I think Baylor's gonna do it.
Overlooking them.
Basketball, man. Anything can happen in basketball.
Yeah, one game. It ain't no serious anything. That's why they call it March Madness. One game.
Yeah. Because the thing about it, like I said, I hope this March Madness tournament proved to everybody that the one and done schools ain't gonna get it done like you think they gonna do. I'm saying when you got the juniors and seniors on that team, that take you a long way.
Absolutely.
But it was actually a comment that I had on here. I just had on here. I just lost it. Unfortunately. Oh, somebody asked, "Are we gonna do a Braves channel?" Like, I can't do it because I'm at work. if the Braves come on, man. I can't. That's 162 games.
That's 162 games. We can try. All right, just go to Miss Maggie T channel and Mad Mike Network. I'm gonna try. All right, I'm gonna try to do that Braves update. So trust me. Just follow us, Miss Maggie T and Mad Mike Network. All right.
Look, you might get, for me, you might get the weekly player of the week after 7 games player of the week or something like that.
But actually, I got a channel for you, and it's kind of plug. It's called the Braves Anatomy, and my homegirl Cassidy McMahon, she actually runs that channel, and I tell you, man. She is absolutely on point with her. You talk about historic, and I'm gonna put the link in the chat if I can find it. She is great. All right, she's a great YouTuber, and like I said, she's one of those just one of those people that you're just gonna fall in love with. Like she has a disability, but like you would never know it with just her knowledge, and she's just a beautiful, beautiful person. So check out the Braves Anatomy. I'm about to put that in the chat. Please subscribe to her. She's one of the biggest Braves fans I have ever seen. She's absolutely brilliant.
Oh yeah, and Ryan talked about do the Gwinnett Gladiators. I got
Gwinnett Gladiators.
It's a hockey team. You know, they're like one of the best semi-pro hockey teams right now.
Mm-hmm.
They've been winning championships for like the last few years. Chris Dunlap, stupid in here. He talking about is she single?
Oh my God, really?
But he was he was joking though. He wasn't serious. I just wanted to read that because it just sounded funny at the time.
Man, y'all tripping, man.
Oh man. But we're gonna go ahead and wind it down for the end of the night. Like I said, we appreciate everybody tuning in to us. Like I said, you make sure you follow if you hadn't already followed this guy right here, Mr. Jew Talk Sports, aka Juju in the Bank, the calm before the storm. Down here, Mr. Mad Mike Sports, the Mad Scientist, the Matt Ryan Lover, whatever the hell y'all want to call him.
The lover. You didn't say it right. You got to say the lover.
Hold on, I'm going to do it right. The Matt Ryan Lover.
There we go. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, like I said, this your boy Just Kstylz, the 6th man, Beer McBeer, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Beer McBeer.
Reggie always come with some crazy ass shit. He talk about him. He said, if y'all not gonna cover the midget gymnastics, I'm unsubscribed.
Oh, man, stop, man.
Hey, look, I'm about to say, go watch Rough and Rowdy Boxing. You can get all your midget boxing over there.
Hey man, changing the game, man. We absolutely love you, man. We appreciate it. Hey, man, that's what we try to do, man. Try to give you guys a great show. Prove it. Billy Ellsworth, Ryan English, Reggie, Chris Dunlap, The Nation, Millie Mills. We truly appreciate you guys, man. Couldn't do it without you guys. But we need to hurry up and get to this damn game. I appreciate it. But we need to hurry up and get to the game, all right?
All right. So since we're gonna say that, like I said, the nation is not just the Atlanta Falcon Nation is not just us, it's everybody that watches this show and everybody that subscribes and tune in every week. So
Yes, sir.
on the spirit of getting into this game, you ain't gotta go home, but
you gotta get the hell out of here.
You're done. Like, go watch Rough and Rowdy Boxing. It's the funniest thing you ever see. You can get all your midgets. Like I said, you can tell Reggie to do it too. You can get all his midgets there. You can get all your racists, your bodybuilders, all them boxing, and they all trash. So, all right, y'all. We out.